Most real estate agents never hit six figures. And here's the hard truth. It's not the market's fault. It's not their brokerage's fault. It's not the economy. It's the agents who stay stuck almost always have these things in common. Today, I'm going to go through exactly what those things are because I see it time and time and again. And I'm going to show you how to be different, how to generate six figures, and push that into multiple six-figure income annually. And if you want to work through your specific situation and figure out what's holding you back from that six-figure income or multiple six figures or pushing past the 500K GCI, book your free strategy session call with me. The description's below. Or you can DM me at PK Residential on Instagram or Facebook. I respond to every message and I am here to support you. And you will get that free audit of your business to help you scale to the next level. So majority of real estate agents earn less than $50,000 per year. A lot of those agents earn significantly less than that. And this industry has a massive dropout rate or a failure rate because the income is inconsistent and there's no built-in structure and people give up before they finally figure it out. And that does not have to be your story, but you have to be honest with yourself about what's actually happening in your business, because the agents who hit consistent six figures are not luckier than you. They're not smarter than you. They just made different decisions, especially when things got hard. And I want to tell you about the worst transaction of my career. The one that almost made me quit real estate. It started all good, great listing. I brought it to the market. It was set to be a 30-day close, super straightforward. And then it turned into a nightmare. And then it turned into a 6-month escrow with county violations and title disputes and rate lock extensions, and a client who desperately needed his funds and was relying on me to figure it out. My broker kept telling me that I could walk away, but I was scared the client was going to be upset with me, and I was committed to seeing it through out of a combination of fear and just sheer determination. I was already so deep in the transaction. I was so focused on getting it done, and I closed that transaction 2 days before Christmas. And everything I poured into it, 6 months of stress, fighting for a client who stretched me completely thin, constantly looking out for calls and different things that were going to come up, and everything you could possibly think that could go wrong with a transaction did in this situation. And I was burnt out. Real estate can be a lonely business, and you pour your heart and soul into this for your clients constantly, and you hear their stories and their fears, and that this is their biggest life decision. There's so much money on the line and a lot of emotionals and money at stake, and rarely does anybody ask how you're doing. So I took the holidays to be with my family, and then I had a client reach out to me asking me to tour a home on Christmas Day. And in that moment, even after a year, when I made great money, I had the best year in my career at the time. It was my record year to date. I genuinely asked myself if this business was for me anymore. And that question hit differently on Christmas morning. And what I realized in that reflection was that it wasn't a real estate problem. It was a me problem. I had no boundaries. The fact that I had a client who reached out to tour properties on Christmas, I had set no boundaries. I had that other client that was stretching me thin, and I didn't set any boundaries. I had no standards for who I took on as a client. I was chasing every lead and saying yes to everyone, regardless of the fit, regardless of the work that was going to be required of me to put into it. And that week, I made some of the clearest decisions of my life. I fired 2 clients. I ended a long-term relationship. I reset my entire business going into 2021, setting boundaries, creating standards, and I built a real work-life balance. I stopped chasing every lead, and I started curating my business to look the way I actually wanted it to look. And since then, I've scaled every single year. I'm the happiest and most successful I've ever been in my view of the world. And that story is not about the bad transaction. It's about what happens when you decide to build a business on your terms. So reason number 1 why most agents don't hit that income threshold that they're looking to is they don't treat this like a business. Real estate is not just a job you show up to. It's not something you walk into your office or you hop on your brokerage hub and you get leads sent to you, and then they tell you where to go and where to be and who you're working with. That's not how this works. It is a business that you build. Most agents operate in a reactive mode. They just respond to what comes in and they wait to see what the day brings. But the more you wait, nobody's gonna give you a handout. Nobody's gonna call you, say, hey, I wanna buy or sell a home. That just doesn't happen. Nothing's gonna come to you. You have to go out and get the business. If you're waiting for something to come to you, that's an employee mindset in a business owner's career. And guess what? It's not gonna work. And it keeps people stuck, and it ends up getting people pushed out of the business because they're not going out to hunt and find deals. Running a business means knowing your numbers, having a prospecting system, tracking your activities, and making decisions based on data. It means setting the terms instead of just accepting whatever shows up, because the market doesn't care if you had a hard month. They don't care if the last year sucked for you. Your competition is showing up. They're the ones getting the business. If you're not showing up and treating your business like a business, they're getting it. So make sure you are too, so that you can remain in the business. And the second reason is they wait for the leads instead of hunting. So sitting and waiting for the phone to ring, it's a slow death. Joining teams and waiting for leads to come is a slow death with a salary attached, and you're making half the income. Six-figure agents and multiple six-figure agents, they hunt. They're proactively reaching out. They're proactively calling their database. They're knocking on doors. They're sending mailers. They're sending touch points. They're always in contact with their sphere. They don't wait for this business. They go and get it. They do daily activities or open houses every weekend. Whatever it is, they're out there looking for their next deal. And if you depend entirely on your brokerage or a lead source for business, you're one restructure away from starting over. And it's not a safe and stable career, and it's a house of cards. So take control of your pipeline. This is the one that took me the longest to learn, is when you have no standards for who you take on as a client, when you're available to everyone all the time, or when you say yes to every single lead, regardless of whether they're a good fit for you, because you don't know what other deal is coming later. This is what's gonna burn you out, and burned out agents do not hit their income goals, they quit. Decide what your standards are, decide who your ideal client is, and decide what your working hours look like so you can curate your business intentionally. You're not here to serve every single person who calls. You're here to serve the clients who are the right fit for you in your business, and serve those people exceptionally well. Most agents will quit before that breakthrough. The first 6 to 18 months in real estate are often the hardest, and that database is not built. The referrals are not flowing yet. The momentum isn't there, and agents interpret that difficulty as a sign that they're not cut out for this, when really it's just the season you have to push through. It's grind time. That consistency wins. The agents that are making consistent multiple six figures, they're not always the ones who started out the strongest. They're the ones who didn't stop when it got hard. And I know you're thinking, well, but Payton, the market's really tough right now. Well, yeah, the market has challenges. It will always have challenges. There's different reasons of why it could be a challenging market. And there's top producers making real money in your market right now, in this market, because they built systems and standards that work regardless of conditions. Me and some of the agents on my team have had record years in the most challenging market we've seen since 2008. The market is not your problem. The market's your context. Build strong enough habits and standards in a pipeline that belongs to you, and the market becomes manageable. Most agents stay stuck because they treat real estate like a job. They wait instead of hunting, and they have no boundaries, and they quit before that momentum builds. And if you're ready to do things differently and build multiple six figures a year of gross commission income, let's talk. Book a free strategy session with me. You're here, you watched all the way through this video. Book the call, take advantage of the opportunity that's in front of you. The link is in the description below, or DM me at PK Residential. I respond to every message. Don't wait, start today. We want to see you here next year, the year after, and in 10 years in this career. So let's build out your business.